Ted, I know how much you hate the idea that Greg is your brother.
I'm not even thinking about that. Just look at the situation. Megan waltzes in, comes out of nowhere into our lives, and starts writing this book with Dad. Suddenly, then, she announces that those two have a son, and then 2 months later, we hear a spy's been wandering around Capitol Enterprises. Now, she's had total access to all the files with Dad and Capitol Enterprises.
Yeah, but Megan Richardson is an established author. I can't believe that she'd resort.
Well, then why would she turn down one of Dad's proposals unless she had something to hide? Now, I think Megan is a spy, and I think Greg is a major part in it, too.
Greg, come on,
No,
Ted.
listen, it's a total smokescreen for Megan. I mean, all she has to do is convince Dad that Greg's his son. I mean, who's going to suspect her then?
I have to admit I was a little surprised that all of you accepted the fact that Greg was Daddy's son.
I suppose we could have investigated a little more thoroughly.
Well, how could we, though, with Dad shoving Greg down our throats like that?
Yeah, well, Megan sure didn't know how to appeal to Daddy's ego. I mean, he goes to bed with her once and produces this strong, handsome son. Of course he's going to fall in love with her.
No, you're right from the very beginning. I didn't trust that woman.
Well, maybe you ought to just hang her from the old oak tree out front.
Mason, come on. I'm very serious here.
Yeah, and frightening, too. I'd hate to have you on a jury trying
Oh,
me.
come on, Mason. He's got good points.
Yeah, but right now it's all just wild speculation. We'll deal with them later.
I think it's a pretty damn logical theory.
Yeah, Jerry Barnett, please.
If you think about it, her timing, I think it's all too convenient.
No.
After 17 years, why does she pick this moment to come forward?
Ted, I know this makes sense to you, but we have to be very careful about the way we handle this, especially if she does turn out to be the spy.
And what, we just keep waiting around and let her continue to use Dad?
Daddy loves her. He has asked her to marry him at least twice. He would be devastated if this were true. Now, we've got to be very careful, especially because of his health.
Yeah, you're right. We can't just jump forward and tell him the truth, can we?
No.
Great. Thanks a lot, Jerry. Well,
That was a friend of mine who is legal counsel for Megan's publisher. Guess what he dug up for me?
How could he find out anything in that short of time?
I only gave him one name to cross-reference on his computer. Seems that Megan was doing interviews for another biography 6 months before she was working on Dad's.
Robert Barr.
Who else?
Well, that cinches it.
Well, I guess we don't have much choice. We have to tell Dad.